Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the Toubou Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Things got pretty heated outside of a New York City courtroom as Sergeant Eric Duran was being charged for second-degree manslaughter for throwing a water cooler at a fleeing suspect during a drug bust last year, as Eric Dupre was on a scooter trying to get away from what they were saying. The sergeant took a water cooler, threw it, hit him in the back of the head, and then he fell, hit his head, and died from blunt force trauma. Okay, so while that was going on inside of the courtroom, there was a little bit of a protest outside, and it was led by that of Black Lives Matter, Hawk Newsom, as he apparently got into it with a police officer, called the police officer a whole bunch of names, and from what they're saying, Hawk grabbed the police officer's hand and then kind of flung it away. From that point, Hawk was arrested, and he was charged with 3 things, basically dealing with disorderly conduct. Okay, now my problem really from that is the tweet that went out from City Councilwoman Vickie Paladino, and this is what she said. If you are within reach of an officer's firearm and behaving in an unambiguous, hostile, and threatening manner like this, you should be tased at the very least. Lethal force should not be out of the question either if tasers are ineffective and the situation escalates. It's beyond absurd that our police have to put up with this. Showing even an ounce of deference to this kind of abject hostility only invites more and makes the job that much more dangerous. She continues on with, criminals used to understand that actions like this crossed a line and would lead to bad outcomes. Now, they know there are no consequences, so they push even further. It's a very dangerous game enabled by progressives who cheer the chaos. So she's basically saying that now people are getting out of line. We got to show them. They can't just be doing whatever they want. Now, let's keep it a buck, Vickie. First of all, I want to even know how you got on there. She's a Republican, so I'm sure there's a lot of Republicans in New York that like her style of walking tall and talking tough and big up in the police. But Vickie, you know that New York City has one of the most brutal police forces on the planet, right? They don't hesitate to crack heads and everything else in between, right? So what are you talking about? She's making it seem like they're scared and they're timid and their hands are tied by progressives who, may be talking about police reform, which is needed, right? But she's saying, nah, they need to be able to do whatever they want to do so people don't get out of line, basically saying that people are not in fear enough of the police officers. Well, we know that, especially if you live in New York, there's a lot of people who are in fear of the police because they do what they want to do to people, right? We know the infamous story of that of Eric Gardner. He was selling loose cigarettes and he had his life snatched from him from one of those officers that she feels like their hands are tied and that they, can't really just move like they want. And, that people aren't in fear. And there's a whole host of other cases there in New York where the police officers are, invoking fear in people. And so the people like her scare me, right? Because she has the power to legislate to some degree, right? She's on the city council. She has a lot of power there within the city. But there she is advocating that somebody be tased, and even worse, for protesting. Now, I don't know what Hawk's intentions were, but we've seen people that don't look like Hawk do a whole lot worse, and they don't get, no one advocates for them to be tased and worse. But there that white woman is sitting there on the city council advocating for the police officers to do even more of what they're already doing. It is a right to protest. People are allowed to do that. So we're seeing this culture, especially within this country, that people who are protesting for whatever it is, they're being handled very austere. And so there she is advocating for, I don't think police officers are doing enough. They should go farther. So think about what she's advocating for. Somebody's out there protesting and she's thinking that, you know, potentially they should have their life taken from them because they are speaking up about something that they don't like. That's very dangerous. So for those of y'all that live in New York, I'm going to ask y'all, for those of y'all who can vote for her in her district, I think she's in the 19th district. Is that who y'all really want sitting up there? Somebody is advocating that the police, who already have a lot of power, they are judge, jury, and executioner. In most cases, she's advocating that they do more for protesting. So anyway, y'all tell me what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube.